A warm welcome to Disky Talk with Luyolo. On this week's episode, we discuss all things strikers. So, your traditional number 9s, the men who are responsible for scoring the goals. I'll start by introducing my first guest. He's a returning guest. He goes by the name of Pamuto. How are you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm always happy to be here.
Thank you for joining me. The second guest goes by the name of Dumi. How are you, bro?
I'm doing well, man. And you?
All is well, all is well.
That's lovely.
So, because these two men have very contrasting views, I had to sit in the middle just to make sure that there will be no fist fight on today's episode, because today's episode is quite the debatable one. However, let's get right into it. And as always, I am your host with the most, and my name is Luyolo. The first question I have for you, gentlemen, is in the modern day space, we've seen this system titled false nine, right? And we've seen a lot of traditional strikers being put to the bench and attacking midfielders, wingers being used in that position as a false nine. What do you guys make of this false nine system, and do you think it is here to stay? I'll start with you, Pamuto.
You know, there are teams that can get away with it. It all depends on the players, you know. And if a striker is playing in the false nine position, I do feel that a natural striker with, you know, the instinct can make it work. It's to get closer to the team, you know, to to receive the ball, to get more involved. I think it can work, but you know, it's more of, I don't have a problem with the false nine. It's just have a striker playing. They have a natural goal scorer. Yeah, that's how I feel about false nine.
Yeah, Dumi, what are your thoughts?
You know, I think that, like most positions in football, you know, things have to evolve. You know, if you go back to how a keeper is supposed to be now, we expect a keeper who's a ball player. Now, if you go to the right back situation, we don't want our right back who's just going to be stagnant at the back. We want a guy who's going to go up and down. So with terms of a false nine, I feel like now we need to it's about now a striker who can do both. Who can now come and collect the ball and play with the team, but also at the same time be as ruthless up front in the box. So I think that the whole system is, like Pamuto said, it's a good system to have, you know, to involve the player and maybe outnumber players, you know, in the midfield or anything like that.
Yeah.
But now the problem is, if you're not going to play a striker, an out-and-out striker who can produce those goals up front, because a striker is a striker for a reason. He's the guy who scores the goals. So if you're not going to put him in, where are the goals going to come? So that's my only issue with the whole system. You know, you just need to find a way to work around it.
Yeah.
You know, have a proper criteria of the type of player you want, who can play with his feet, but at the same time be ruthless up front.
Yeah. And when you consider all things, there's some teams which have managed to profit using this particular system, and some teams have struggled. Do you guys think that the teams that have struggled to integrate the system within their team have struggled by virtue of the fact that they look at this position in isolation as opposed to looking at it as a system? Because I think the false nine is a system as opposed to a position. Because you can still have a natural striker in a false nine system, you know. So do you think that plays a big attribute with the teams that have struggled to implement the false nine system successfully?
You know, I think it's, what do you consider a team like failing to implement the false nine? Is it lack of goals from the striker? What do you consider a failure from the team?
Well, what I would consider a failure from the team is when teams don't get the desired effect of the system, you know. And I like the point that you bring up when you say, is it the striker himself not scoring goals? That's not something that we can look at in isolation. Because if you do look at a Liverpool, Roberto Firmino plays in that false nine position. However, Salah and Mane, they score lots of goals, you know. However, I'm speaking to the teams that struggle to implement it, where it becomes very clear that this team needs an out-and-out number 9. Whereas with Liverpool aren't really in the window for a number 9 because it's working for them, and those players around Firmino understand the system very well. That's what I'm speaking to.
You know, I think with that in mind, I think you have to look into the fact that it's about the team first of all. It's not just the individual, it's about the team. Firmino is a success because of the wingers he has. So I think that the teams fail, not because necessarily of the structure, but the personnel. You know, some false nines can't produce the goal or create goals for the wingers or whoever, like maybe the midfielder or the cam. So it's about the player, and I think it's the personnel, not necessarily the structure. Not everybody can play a false 9, and you just have to see what you're gaining in that position as a team. Maybe the false 9 loses goals, but he's giving so I think it's personnel, not necessarily the structure.
The structure.
Yeah.
Okay, so the question that I have for you is, what then predicates for a successful false 9 system?
You know, I think the thing is, right, I think the problem is, I don't think teams or maybe some managers really understand what the purpose of the false 9 is, or maybe per se the role of a proper false 9. The false 9 is there to stand in front of the defenders to clear off the other guys, his teammates. So the thing is, that's not naturally to draw out players, the opposing team, to draw all the attention to him. That's why in Liverpool you find that you have your Salahs and your Mane scoring most of the goals, because the goalposts are in the middle. So if this player is here in the middle receiving the ball in front of your goalpost, and he can distribute it to the wide to the other players, then it's more effective. So going back to your question, what was the question again?
What makes a successful false 9?
Oh yeah, basically what I described. A player who can play off the ball. Like, so basically, if you can play off him very well, then that, I think, what makes a successful false 9.
Yeah.
Because it's about drawing the players, the opposition team, towards the ball and the middle guy, so that these guys have space to run on.
Yeah.
So I think that's my opinion of a very successful false 9.
Yeah.
No.
And
Sorry, just to add to him, it's also not. I don't necessarily. That's what makes a successful false 9. But also, I remember when Messi was playing false 9 for Barcelona for Pep, and you getting him involved in the game more. He would receive the ball more, and he's the goal scorer. So you know, he that's a big difference in the false 9 thing, where Messi is playing false 9, he gets you goals, and when you look at Firmino, he creates goals. So it's. I feel it depends on personnel.
Yeah, it depends on personnel. And I like the fact that you mentioned Messi, because I think he perfected that role. You know, it's not only the goals, but a lot of assists. And also how he was also able to draw players away. You know, because when you look at it, it then poses a very difficult question to the centre-backs that he's playing against. You know, will you stick or twist? You know, because if Messi then drops deep, it's either as a centre-back, it's either you're going to go with him, and when you do go with him, there's that space in behind. If you don't go with Messi and you keep your position, Messi is free to pick the ball up and run at you. You know, and I think Messi perfected it because of the system. The system was a false 9 system. As much as it was tiki-taka, when you look at it from a transitional perspective, it building up from the back into midfield, tiki-taka, and then up front it became a false 9 system. And they used a lot of those triangles to break down teams, those passing patterns, the movement of the ball. And another player who comes to mind, who I won't say perfected it, but is a player who did really well and was able to more or less have an impact in that role, scoring and assisting, is Harry Kane. This is a player who was able to score goals and assist. You know, double-figure assists, double-figure goals. You know, and when you look at him, I think I call him the perfect 9.5. So a 9 who's got the attributes of a 10, and he can play. And I think when we're speaking about the perfect false 9, we're speaking of a mold of a Harry Kane, somebody who can score goals with left foot, right foot headers, and somebody who can still ping 20, 40, 50-yard passes, diagonal balls, you know, somebody who can drop in, somebody who understands why he's put into the team for that specific role. And Harry Kane understands that role very well. And that's why I always say that false nine is a system as opposed to it being a position. And when teams and certain coaches start to look at it from a collective perspective to say that this is a system as opposed to it being a position in isolation, it then informs the rest of those players around him. Because if you look at Harry Kane and how he would profit, it wouldn't only be him, but you know, in the season gone by, you look at how Bale would profit off that towards the end of the season. You look at how Son profited off Harry Kane's false nine abilities. You know, Kane would draw the players in, he drops deep, and they space in behind for Son to attack. With that being said, gentlemen, I just want to ask, what do you guys then make of the possibility that a natural number 9 could become an endangered species?
It's a tough one. Honestly, I don't think it's a road that we should go down. I don't think it's a road that most teams should go down, because like at the end of the day, you need that out and out striker who's gonna score you the goals and who has that killer instinct. I think if you look at Man City, in my opinion, the problem was, okay, they tried to play without a striker. I think for them to try and convert Bernardo Silva into a striker like that was maybe a mistake. I felt like they should have tried to find a person like Aguero who has that killer instinct and convert him into a player who can play with them, then rather than just phasing him out of the game.
Yeah.
Because if you saw what happened during the ongoing through the season, you saw that Man City struggled to score a lot of goals.
Yeah.
Especially in Champions League, they couldn't get the striker who could score those big game goals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So teams just need to be wary of that fact, because like they will miss out on goals because of that. Because being a striker, it's mostly instinctive.
Yeah.
Knowing where to run, positioning yourself, delaying your run, the shot, the technique, and everything, and having that mentality of sometimes I'm not gonna pass to my player, I'm gonna shoot this ball. You know, so it's that type of thing. So you need that type of personality in the field if you want to win a game. Because if you don't, you find that you'll be passing around the box and then there's no goals.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing.
What are your thoughts?
It's never happening. The natural number 9 is not getting extinct. Yeah, I feel false 9 might integrate more into the game. You might find half a league is false 9, often the league is playing with the traditional number 10. I mean number 9. But I don't see them. I don't see them going extinct. And the reason why is not everybody can play false 9. First of all, and the false 9s are going to be. To be a natural striker, what that gives you is a focal point. It's not just goals.
Yeah.
It's a focal point. It's someone to play off. And a lot of teams get away with. A lot of teams that play with the false 9. These are world-class teams, and they like. Let's look at Barcelona.
Yeah.
They got away without a striker because they had Messi, a goal scorer. Let's look at Man City. They got as far as they got because they're that good. It allows them. But now if you're looking at a team, a mid-table team, they're not going to be able to sustain that. They need a number 9. Even with Man City, they were. You could see the problems. You could see the problems. Even when Bayern lost Lewandowski, you could see that they were missing that number 9. You can go to the Euros, Germany against France. You could see that Germany was missing, and you could play. I don't know how many false 9s you want. You can add rules, but they were just missing that. Like the goals are in the middle of the field.
Definitely. And with regards to that, I always look at when you get balls which are flashed into the box.
Yeah.
The difference between a false 9 or a midfielder who's playing in that false 9 position and a natural striker is that the false 9 or the midfielder won't attack the box when the ball is played out wide. Yeah. Sometimes they just stand and watch, and then they late into the box, and then that's when you see them sliding, and then they miss the chance. Whereas with the traditional striker, as soon as the ball goes wide, they attack the box, and that's why you see the tap-ins. And if you've noticed, a lot of false nines which are not accustomed to goal scoring and are not accustomed with the movement of a traditional striker, you don't see them scoring a lot of tap-ins. Yet with a lot of traditional strikers, they score a lot of tap-ins because they know where to be and when to be. And they also know how to attack the space. So my qualm with the false nine is that a lot of players tend to lack urgency. When with my strikers, I want a striker that has urgency. I want an aggressive striker who attacks the box, because there's those balls which are just put into an area, you know, where you find that maybe as a team we're penned in, we're struggling, and you get that one ball wide, and you get a guy who just plays a very good ball in between the goalkeeper and the defense. And that's that ball that's just angled in, and it's just curling across. And sometimes when you don't have, like you mentioned, a man with natural instinct of scoring goals, they ball watch, they just watch that, and it just flashes across. And we all marvel, we're like, "Ooh,
That was so
oh, that was a great ball, oh, that was close, so close." However, with a striker, he's sliding, he's putting anything he can get onto that to make sure that it's a goal, even if he's toe poking it, even if it's a diving header. And that's something that we're also not seeing in the modern day game as much. Diving headers, attacking the space when the ball is played in between the two centre backs, or when the ball is played in between the centre backs and the goalkeepers. And I think it boils down to what you're saying, that you need instinctive players, you know, players who when a ball is in a certain area of the pitch, they don't think twice, they don't hesitate. However, they go and they attack the space, and only a natural striker can do that effectively.
You know, to add on to that, because I'm a Man United fan, right? So I saw it when Cavani came into the squad, because what a striker also does, it adds a new dynamic to the team. Because if I compare how Martial played in the middle compared to Cavani, you'd find that every time Man United, when Martial was in the middle, we would never cross in the ball, ever. Because we didn't have that player who could attack the ball in the middle, like you said. So now when Cavani came into the play, you're finding that there's a lot of more tap-in goals from Man United, a lot of hitting goals, you know, because usually Man United was always spectaculars, you know, outside the box. So it just adds a new dynamic to the team, you know, like, okay, we can score these long shots, but now if you can get in the box, we have somebody who can attack that ball. Because, like, I was telling Pumuto, I was watching the game, I was like, wow, man, I didn't know that we didn't have a striker until Cavani came in. Because you could see the difference in instinct from Martial to Cavani. Because even, like, there was a game where Rashford tried to shoot outside. People say he was crossing, but he was shooting. But then Cavani just got to it and headed the ball, and that's when he scored that brace against Southampton. So it's just things like that it's that striking instinct, because like the ball is just coming, like you just like, alright, cool,
you know where to be.
You know where to be.
To add on to that, it's the goals become more systematic, I feel. If you look at a team like City, so good with the ball, and a lot of teams, they try to keep it tight in the middle, and City, they try to penetrate that, but the moment you play that ball wide, have De Bruyne, somebody cross it in, having a striker there, that's you know, that's your daily bread. That's how you're gonna get all your goals, you know. So I do feel that the traditional number 9 is still
needed.
I would agree with you guys on that, and I think it's a keep when it comes to modern day football. And as I've previously mentioned, a lot of Disky Talk with Liolo followers and viewers would know my notion when it comes to certain traditional nuances being kept within the modern day space, because some of those things we cannot forego because they bring so much success to it, you know. So gentlemen, it's time for us to get into the debate, the biggest talking point. So we are going to rank our top 5 strikers, natural number 9s, no wingers, so no Mbappe, no Cristiano Ronaldo, no Messi. However, an out-and-out striker, a natural number 9. So the criteria for this one is the best strikers in the past 5 years. So before we get into that, gentlemen, which are some of the best strikers you've witnessed in the past 5 years? I'll start with you, Dumi.
Past 5 years, this is like my top 5 now.
Yeah.
So, number 1, Lewandowski. Number 2, Suarez. Number 3, Aguero. Number 4, Haaland. And then number 5, Harry Kane.
And these are the past 5 years.
Past 5 years.
That's an interesting pick.
That's
Musa?
that's wild. Okay.
That's nice.
Let me go with okay, in the order I would go number 1 Suarez. Number 2 Lewandowski. Number 3 Kane. And last 5 years, right? So number 5 Lukaku. I mean number 4 Lukaku.
Yeah.
Number 5 I want to say Haaland, but I don't think Aguero 5 last year. Aguero, yes.
Aguero. That's very interesting, gentlemen. So, you guys have thrown out names, and it's time that we rank them collectively. So, it's not individual now. So, we'll start with, we'll rank them from number 5, and then we'll crown a winner at the end of the episode. So, we'll start with number 5. Which guy do you think is suited for that number 5 spot? You know, you mentioned Aguero at your number 5.
Yeah.
However, he had Aguero a lot higher on the list, and I already see a bit of tension there. However, guys, gentlemen, let's be as objective as possible. Who would you say number 5? I need you guys to give me at least 3 names for the number 5 spot.
3 names.
Yeah.
3 names. Okay.
I'll give you Lukaku.
Yeah.
Lukaku.
Yeah.
For the number 5, yes, I'd go Lukaku as well. Aguero.
Yeah.
Aguero number 5.
Yeah. I do think.
Aguero.
Aguero. Yeah, that's why I'm sitting in the middle. I told you guys.
Yeah, man. In the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Number 5, Aguero.
In fact, I'm putting Cavani there, bro.
Cavani.
In the last 5 years.
Yeah, last
number 5 years.
PSG Cavani.
PSG. Okay. So this is where I throw a spanner in the works. At number 5, I'll throw in Benzema.
Oh my god.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. You see?
Take out Aguero from my top 5.
Okay.
Benzema.
So you take him out completely now.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. Lukaku moves to number 5. Benzema goes to number 4. Okay, I'll keep Harry Kane and Suarez. And Benzema's number 4. So Aguero's out of my list.
I'll take out Haaland and put in Karim.
Yeah.
Karim.
Yeah.
So okay, gentlemen, let's come to a consensus. Who do we have at number 5?
Lukaku.
You say Lukaku.
I agree with Lukaku.
Lukaku.
Yeah.
Okay. I will also agree with Lukaku. I'm outnumbered on this one because I personally love Lukaku and I would rank him above Karim Benzema. I know which could be an unpopular opinion. However, based on the vote, we've got Lukaku at our number 5. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair. Let's move on. At number 4, who do we have, gentlemen?
I have Karim Benzema, number 4.
You mentioned Cavani, you mentioned Aguero.
If the thing is, I know you guys, I'm gonna be on numbers, I have to be smart. Honestly, for number 4, then I'll put in Aguero over Benzema.
Okay. I don't agree. I don't agree.
Put in Aguero.
Aguero is that number 6, man. And because no, you know what? It's Ronaldo leaving Real Madrid. That's what brought Benzema to life. The last 2 seasons, this season, that's what brought Benzema to life. And what affected Aguero is him not playing.
But that was the one season. If you look at his stats, forget last season and the previous season.
Yeah.
Look at the 3 years ago before those 2 seasons that I mentioned. And this guy was averaging what 20 goals a season.
Benzema was averaging those goals as well, And Benzema was
debatable.
Benzema was very essential for Ronaldo's success, like in Real Madrid. He wasn't. Don't get me wrong. He didn't make Ronaldo anything, but he was. He created. He became a striker that created for Ronaldo. And when Ronaldo left, he scored the goals. He put in the goals. He's the one that won them the La Liga. the previous season.
Okay, so my question then becomes, gentlemen, could we see a possibility of Lukaku dropping out then? Because I'm now starting to get a very strong argument and debate going here between Benzema and Aguero. And do you guys then maybe think that because we've already placed Lukaku at number 5, here we are, we're speaking about a number 4, but the way I see it, we don't have a clear number 4. Could that then possibly maybe knock Lukaku out of number 5, out of the top 5? Then we see either Aguero or Benzema going to 5, and then the other one going to 4.
That's cool, but then Aguero's number 4, then Benzema's number 5.
That's not cool. That's not cool. I still want. You know, the problem is.
Yeah.
If give me past 7 years, Aguero comes in, but we said 5. We said 5.
Even still 5.
You know, we said 5, and look what Lukaku did. He ended a dynasty there in Italy, man.
But that's 2 seasons. You said 5. Aguero had 3 good seasons.
And dude,
and you're talking about 2 seasons.
Lukaku was wrecking goals at Man United. It's just he was creating goals as well at Man United. It's just the media. I don't know. They had an agenda against him. But everywhere he's been, he's produced. And if you're talking about the last 5 years, I'll stick to the last 5 years. I feel, trust me, I would take Prime Aguero and Lukaku. I'll take Aguero. But Aguero didn't play that much in the last 5 years. That's the problem.
That's why I'm trying to correct you, because the 5 years, I agree with you. It was the last 2 where he didn't play that much football. But I'm talking about this 3 here, where he played a full season. So average still a good 20 goals.
So with this one, I'm gonna have to swing towards Dumi's way. So we've got Benzema at number 5, Aguero at number 4, because. Okay, and then which then it knocked Lukaku out? Are we in agreement with that?
Yeah. Wait, so he's Aguero over Benzema?
Yeah, Aguero is sitting at number 4.
Aguero, okay, that's. It's just the last 5 years, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So this is also based on, like you had mentioned, the back-to-back seasons. Yes, and you also substantiated your argument against that by saying that Benzema has also replicated those numbers. However, what I'm looking at a games to goals ratio. Aguero hasn't played much, however, he's still been able to rack up the goals. So even in a season where you find that Aguero maybe plays, let's say he plays about 25 games, he's still able to give you 18, 17 Premier League goals, And then the argument then becomes that, does Benzema potentially give you that? The answer would be no. However, you cannot discredit Benzema's hold-up play and how creative he is and how instrumental he is. However, the criteria and the topic of conversation is the best striker.
Okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Firstly, yes, you say the goals to game ratio.
Yeah.
But if you guys are saying that what makes a striker great is purely goals, okay, we can games to goal ratio Aguero gets there. But what he offers, what he does for the team.
Yeah.
And I feel that in the past, in this Pep Man City era, Aguero just became responsible for goals.
Yeah.
Whereas Benzema, he became responsible for creating and scoring goals. So you can say that in the amount of games they played, goal to game ratio, Aguero did more goals wise. But let's talk about assists, and not even assists, but creating and being a threat. And I feel like Benzema did more. So what are we talking, goals or what he did for the team?
You see, when you mention that, the problem then becomes that we start to shift goalposts. And I say that because the conversation is the best strikers. Yes, striking play does entail creating and what you do for the team holistically. However, then the argument that one could bring up, to your point, is, well, Aguero didn't have to because he's got Kevin De Bruyne, he's got Gundogan, and then you look at, and I could mention Bernardo Silva, and he had David Silva, and then when you look at Real Madrid, they didn't really have creative playmakers from the midfield. They had deep laying midfielders in your Modric and Toni Kroos. And they didn't really have other players who were playmakers in that sense.
But even someone else could say that
Aguero's movement was what also helped Man City in a way. Because movement, if you drag the opposite players around with you, that's how he could have helped the team. When you can say Benzema, yeah, he helped the team with his hold-up play, but movement is... People don't really understand the importance of movement in the field of football.
Yeah.
Because movement can open up play, can open up space for another player. So like somebody else could say the same thing about Aguero, his movement. Going into the box, dragging everybody else with him, giving these guys the time to actually cross or give it to another player. That presence alone. I'll bite the bullet on this one. I do feel like Benzema provided all of these things.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. Aguero, Benzema 5. I'm not
So
mad at
that means Big Rom falls out of our top 5 and he goes to number 6.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that.
I'm mad at that. I'm not happy. However, it's cool. Next, we've got our number 3. At the third spot, who do you guys feel more or less makes the mold of that third spot? I'll give you guys a couple of names. Harry Kane, Luis Suarez. What do you guys make of that?
I would give that spot to Suarez. Yeah. Come on, man. That spot to me is it's hard, but Harry Kane to me.
Harry Kane. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. You know, if you're looking over the last 5 years, as much as Harry Kane has been very dominant and he's also been very consistent within English Premier League football and he's picked up a couple of golden boots. However, you have to look at what Suarez has done in the last 5 years, and I mean, he is a player who, within the peak of the Ronaldo and Messi era, he was still able to surpass them and outscore them. You know, so that for me is something I look at and I think, okay, that was really phenomenal. And you also look at his comeback season with Atletico Madrid, how he was also able to lead them to a La Liga title and him scoring 20 plus goals, even when a lot of people would say that he's over the hill, he's past his prime. However, the quality and the cream always rises to the top, and it just showed that this man is still a quality striker. So I don't have any qualms with that. I would put Kane at number 3.
Yeah. No, it's just that I would put Kane over Suarez because, like, I get... Okay, Suarez had that one crazy season in 2015-16 where he like racked up like 40 goals. That one was wild. Alright, cool. That was wild. I'll give it to him.
Yeah.
It's just that Kane has been more consistent in terms of goals and assists. Where Suarez had assists, yes, but there was a season where he lacked an assist, and of course he scored goals.
Okay. Let me bring it back. Right. This then it goes back then to a contradiction point. Because he mentioned Benzema's assist and play, and you disregarded that. Now, in your argument to have Kane a lot higher than Luis Suarez, you're bringing up assists and all that. So, for consistency purposes...
Okay, fine, we'll stick with Suarez. Number 3.
Are you guys happy with that?
I'm happy with Kane at number 3.
You guys happy with Kane at number 3?
Yeah.
So then that puts Suarez a lot higher up the list. And hey man, in my own opinion, I only see one number 1, and I'm sorry, but I have to place Suarez at number 2 in the last 5 years.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
I don't agree. I want Suarez number 1.
Over Robert?
Yes, over Robert. Over Robert Lewandowski.
The same guy who scored 30 goals just for fun.
Suarez has done it, man. He's
one
done it.
season.
He's done it, man. He's done it. Suarez has done it. It's Lulu mentioned in the Ronaldo and Messi era. Suarez won a golden boot. I think twice even, if I'm not wrong. And Suarez has been doing it as a striker. He's just complete. Like, interesting stat that okay, Messi and Ronaldo goals are crazy, right?
Yeah.
They leading with goals, and Suarez actually has more assists than Ronaldo. That just shows you what he did. Okay, we're not talking about assists, right? Yeah, but I'm just talking a threat, the type of threat he is. He matches Lewandowski when it comes to goals, and it's not even a competition when it comes to assists. And he's been doing it. He did it. The fact that he led Atleti what is it? The fact that he led Atleti to the La Liga is a big, it's a big.
Yeah. Big talking point.
So Suarez is number one for me.
For you, is number one. The season where Suarez led Atleti to that La Liga, and Lewandowski scored.
I know he's gonna say he broke the record. He broke.
But he scored 2 times more than him.
Yeah.
And he broke the record, the long-standing record. For me, over the last 5 years, I'm sorry, I just have to go with Lewandowski. Robert Lewandowski for me has been, in fact, if anything, in the past couple of years, he's been somewhat a tad underrated. He's never been in that conversation as one of the best players. So much so that I believe he got robbed by not winning the 2020 Ballon d'Or, which I think was criminal. It was criminal injustice for the type of season that he had. And I just have to put Robert Lewandowski at number one. I acknowledge all that Suarez has done within the game, and even in the era that he competed in, and even in the era where he was able to shine. However, over the last 5 years, I have to give it to Robert Lewandowski.
So I will accept that, but I'm accepting on the condition that it's the last 5 years. When I was speaking about Suarez, I wanted to bring up Liverpool so badly. Yeah, so. In the last 5 years, I'm not gonna fight. I'm happy with Lewandowski top, Suarez second, but just to put it on the record, career, nobody's touching Suarez in my opinion.
Suarez.
Yeah, it's just not just Liverpool Suarez, MSN Suarez. Like in the national team, he's just been phenomenal. But yeah,
I'm not mad at that. I agree with the Lewandowski number one though. that one is
Lewandowski number one.
So gentlemen, that settles it. At number 5, we got Benzema. We're happy with that.
Yeah.
Number 4, we got Aguero.
Yeah.
We're happy with that. At number 3, we've got Harry Kane.
Yeah.
We're happy with that. Number 2, Luis Suarez. And number 1, Robert Lewandowski.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Are we happy with that?
I mean, yeah, there's nothing on the list that really.
I'm not mad.
There's just that number 4 and 5, Karim Benzema. I just, trust me, it's just the playing time, but all in all, I'm happy.
Okay, gentlemen. Okay. So we've come to the end of yet another special episode of Disky Talk with Liolo. I thoroughly enjoyed this one as we were ranking the top 5 strikers in the last 5 years. So for all those of you who are part of the Disky Talk with Liolo family, I ask that you please subscribe, hit the notification button, and don't be afraid to share the beautiful content. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming through.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Can we also ask for their top 5s?
Just to see. Yeah. So viewers at home, please don't shy away. Please do give us your top 5 in the past 5 years. Signing out.